I want to talk in this next segment of the show. And by the way, thank you for all the new followers, all the new subscribers. You guys are absolutely crushing it, and I appreciate each and every one of you. So let's talk about, one of the things I think that is going to be awesome about Gears 6, and I'm just going to say it here because I think that it's really important that we talk about this in terms of Gear 6 being what I believe could very well be the best Gears of War title ever made. I want to talk about this because I believe that Gear 6 has the opportunity and the potential to be the greatest ever made, and certainly the best made by the Coalition ever. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about Gears of War 6 in terms of how this could be the best Gears of War title to date, the greatest Gears of War game ever made. Let's talk about some things that could definitely echo that into existence. So number one, obviously the Coalition is taking their time and they're doing it right? And Jez Gordon said this perfectly. I truly believe, guys, that we are in a period of time where the Coalition they're taking their time with this next up and coming Gears of War title. Regardless of what it's called and all of that, whether it's Gears of War 6, Gear 6, or something totally different altogether, they're taking their time with this next entry in the Gears of War universe. Typically, it's every 3 years we get a new Gears of War title. But obviously that timeline is changing, and it could change in a pretty big way. We may see Gears 6 or Gears of War 6 not come out until 2024, 2025. I mean, maybe 2023, but I think it's more likely 2024 or 2025. And so with that, I think it creates like a really interesting narrative around just Gears of War in general, because we've never really had to wait this long for a new title. At least, of course, in the Coalition's era of making Gears of War titles, we've never had to wait this long. And so why that gets me very excited is because if they're taking this much time on the next entry in Gears of War, they realize that there were some things that went awry in Gears 5 and even in Gears of War 4. And so they want to take their time and make sure that this next up-and-coming title is something really special. So that gets me very excited, first and foremost, for Gears of War 6. The Coalition are going to take their time. They're going to do this thing right, in my mind, for sure. Number two, why Gears 6 could definitely be the best Gears of War title ever made is because the Coalition is switching from, obviously, the old Unreal Engine to Unreal Engine 5. And what that's going to do, obviously, is going to make Gears 6 look absolutely gorgeous. Now, Gears 5 looked great, in my opinion. I thought it looked fantastic. I mean, Gears 5 was the best looking Gears of War title we've ever had. I thought from a graphical perspective, it looked incredible. The landscapes, the semi-open world, all those things made Gears 5 absolutely slap. I mean, it looked great from a visual perspective. Gears of War 6, I believe, is going to look even better than Gears 5, for sure. I mean, simply because we're getting it on Unreal Engine 5. Unreal Engine 5, and obviously the Coalition showed us a tech demo of, Unreal Engine 5 and some models and concepts that they're working on. It even looked like they were showing us a little bit, what could be a little snippet of some Gears 6 concepts in that demo. And when I saw that, it looks visually stunning. And obviously, I believe they're just models and such. I mean, they're definitely, they're ramping up production. And so I think that Unreal Engine 5 is going to make Gears 6 look unbelievable. So they've got a massive opportunity. Obviously, moving into Unreal Engine 5, that's going to be something that could be very special. this extra amount of time is also going to get the buzz and the excitement when we get an announcement for Gears 6. It's going to give extra time for the Gears of War community to get very, very excited and really start anticipating Gears 6. And so that could be another thing that really builds momentum moving into Gears 6. So like what I'm getting at here, obviously from Halo 5 to Halo Infinite, the Halo, community had to wait a while. They had to wait a while for Halo Infinite. But the hype started building and it kept building. And when Halo Infinite came out, the launch was a smash success in any way that you could really look at it. It was a massive success. And obviously now Halo Infinite's having some issues, primarily in the HCS, which is the Halo Championship Series, the Halo esports scene. They're having some issues in terms of just getting, having tournaments lined up for the pro players and, so on and so forth. So they really didn't have a great plan, it feels like, at least in this point, for the HCS. And certainly Halo has its issues. I mean, there's no doubt about it. And obviously a lot of people are waiting for the Halo BR, the Battle Royale. A lot of people are waiting for Halo's Forge mode, so on and so forth. This extra time that the Coalition is taking for Gears 6, could they be working on a Gears of War Battle Royale? Could they be working on our own map editor, kind of like Forge mode in Halo? Could they be working on some of these things, learning from the mistakes of Halo, another Xbox exclusive, and implementing a lot of those things that were negatives and turning them into positives in Gears 6? I think that is something that could absolutely be happening right here, right now, guys. Now, obviously, we're going to have to wait and see. But this is why I'm kind of setting a stage here of why Gears 6 could become the greatest Gears of War title ever made for a lot of those reasons. And there's a number of other reasons, guys. I mean, think of it from the story's perspective, okay? We're not, forget about the full open world, which I believe we're going to get a full open world in Gears 6. We had the semi-open world tease in Gears 5. I think we're going to get a full open world in Gears 6, which is going to really expand upon the lore, the legacy of this thing. But let's think about it from the narrative of the storytelling in Gears 6, or I should say Gears 5 to Gears 6. What's canon? Is JD alive? Is Del alive? What's going to happen there? Is the choice that you make going to affect, what happens in Gears 6? The narratives around this thing, what's going to happen? Is Gears 6 going to be the end of this trilogy and lead us into the next trilogy? Or is Gears 6 meant to be kind of like a Gears Infinite or a Gears Forever, kind of like a last hurrah for the Gears universe? I believe that there's still so many more things left for Gears of War to, from the movie's going to be coming out. We're going to be talking about that here shortly on the show. Rod Ferguson confirmed Gear 6 as well as Gear 7 before he moved on to obviously Activision Blizzard. So there's a lot of excitement around what could be happening with Gear 6. A lot of it comes down to us, though, obviously. I mean, I think that the Coalition has to make a sustainable title, but we as the community have to do our part in order to really sustain it. But I think that things are lining up, guys, that this could very well be the greatest, if not the best that the Coalition has ever done in the Coalition era of making Gears titles. It could very well be the best. I have a lot of hope and thought that it's going to be the best, for sure. But it could very well, could it be the greatest Gears game ever made? I mean, it's got a ton of living up to do, because when we think about the greatest Gears titles ever, my favorite Gears of War game of all time, and my favorite game of all time, is Gears of War 3. Loved Gears of War 3. Gears of War 2, I believe, was the second greatest Gears game ever made. So when you're looking at Gears 3 and Gears 2, I mean, whichever one you want to consider 1 and 2, right? I think that those two titles are the standard for Gears of War. So if you could build on that magic of what those two games really did, and we could bring that into the 2020s now, I think the sky's the limit for Gears 6. So those are the reasons, guys, why I believe Gears of War 6 could be the greatest Gears game ever made. There's a lot of narrative. There's a lot of things going around, and we have to be the ones in the community building a lot of these narratives, building a lot of this excitement that's happening behind the scenes Even though there's a lot of times, a lot of people are looking at it from a negative way where, Gears 5 isn't being supported anymore. The Gears esports scene is no longer, at least for the foreseeable future. I truly believe that if we continue to just, spread positivity and not negativity, we continue to create content, stream, things of that nature, we can definitely build enough hype around the future of Gears of War. And I think that there's so much to be excited about, guys. I can't wait for more information to come out about Gears 6. It's going to be a little while, so we got a journey ahead of us. But don't give up hope, guys. I think what happens on the other side is going to be something very, very special. But what do you guys think? Do you think that Gears 6 could be the greatest Gears of War title ever? Do you think it won't be? Do you think it's not going to live up to the hype? What do you guys think about it? Let me know in the comment section down below. And for more Gears 6 content and videos, stay here with Zero TV.